Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us at the Virtual Indigenous Artist Hub, brought to you by Punctuate Theatre and Dreamspeakers. I'm Rebecca Sadowski. I'm a Métis dance and theatre artist in Edmonton, and I'm also an artistic associate with Punctuate Theatre. Today, I have the privilege of chatting and sitting down with Theresa Cutknife. Theresa is a mixed Nehiyaw and Puerto Rican actor from Maskwacîs and is a member of the Samson Cree Nation. She's a graduate of the Centre for Indigneous Theatre. Theresa is an emerging actor, playwright, and director. She was a curator for the 2020 Rhubarb Festival at Buddies and Bad Times Theatre and has also worked at Young People's Theatre as an Apprentice Resident Artist Educator, working with youth in an after-school drama program. So Theresa, thank you so much for coming onto our program, and I'm so excited to get the chance to get to know you and chat about your art.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So you're from Maskwacîs, and what led you to this passion in theater and wanting to go into acting?
I feel like I've always been trying to continually learn more and more about my family and my people. I grew up on reserve for until grade 6, like the summer of going into grade 6. And then I moved to Ponoka, where it's a very small rural town, and where my high school was mainly, the main demographic was white kids, Native kids, and then like literally you could count on your hand the other demographic of students that we had. I was very much a very like typical shy kid. Like I only talked to my small group of friends and didn't really venture out of that. And there was a posting in my high school for the musical, which that year was Seussical the musical, and
One of my favorites.
it's so good. I really enjoy that musical, and I just like convinced myself that like, oh no, you can't. Yeah, you sing, but like you can't actually sing. But then once I saw the posting, I was like, we should just test this out. We should just be sure, make sure that we're actually tone deaf. And then I ended up getting a part, and from there I continued to take drama classes. I got involved with community theater. I went to the University of Lethbridge for like a year because I thought like, oh, I'm gonna be a drama teacher, because it was my drama teacher who like really inspired me and really like made me come out of my shell. And I thought I could do that for other people, like for other kids.
Yeah.
But then when I got there, I like, education is weird. I had the thought, well, like the world doesn't need a mediocre teacher out of me, so I'm just gonna go for it. And which led me to transfer to the University of Alberta for Bachelor of Arts with a minor in Native Studies. I honestly can't even remember how I came across CIT. I think it was just like a random Google search. So made the decision to move out to Toronto by myself. At that time, I didn't know anyone who was in the city. Later to come to find out, like about 6 months later, there were so many Alberta people out here, and I was like, what? Where were y'all like 6 months ago?
Right? Totally.
Kind of like a long, somewhat winding road to get to where I am now, which is finally graduated and being a working actor. CIT at the time when I first entered, it was a 3-year program.
Okay.
Modeled after the National Theatre School. So I wanted to try and focus on directing, because I had a couple opportunities to assistant direct with After the Fire, with Punctuate Theatre at the Theatre Centre in Toronto. And then also this past fall, I was assistant director for the election that was at Theatre Pass Marai. I feel very lucky and very blessed to have been able to be in this program. I mean, there are like so many great programs and so many other theater schools within the country, but with this, there is the focus and understanding of Indigenous theater and Indigenous values and just modes of thinking and those systems.
Mm-hmm.
And I also felt very lucky to be in a room where, even though a lot of us were from different places and different communities, and both urban Indigenous people and people who lived on reserve,
Right.
even though like we all had so many different backgrounds, we all had the base like commonality of that we're all Indigenous, and we have this understanding of each other already.
So can you tell us about your interrupted work, what you were doing right before the COVID crisis hit?
Yes. So, like, I think about a week or two before COVID was happening, I was set to start working on Blue Planet at Young People's Theatre. Was supposed to go into rehearsals, and then that was canceled. And yeah, so it also I had plans to be a part of the Toronto Fringe Festival with a different show, but then that was also canceled. So, and I was also part of the Puerto Rican Festival as part of the Indigenous Arts program, but then that is also canceled. So,
Right.
just a lot of things canceled at one time.
So are you still able to graduate in terms of your credits that you've developed?
As far as I know, yes. Like I'm considering myself like I'm done. I'm graduated. I am now a professional.
Yes.
So pay me.
As you should.
As a result of being in the Indigenous Artists Hub, the show that I'm trying to create is about Treaty 6, and I'm doing research and trying to learn about the treaty and see the different perspectives of what was written, what was said, and then what was actually done. Learning about myself in all forms and aspects, like mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, is learning about my culture, is learning about my people, and is connecting to those roots that
Mhm.
have always been there and will
Mhm.
always be there. Yes. Yolanda Burnell is just, oh my gosh, she's just my life. She's someone that I look up to so much, and I'm really interested in her process of having ceremony in performance. She really, really heavily advocates for Indigenous women and for those stories to be at the forefront. I think I just want to say that I hope my fellow artists in this hub, not just in this hub, but all makers and creators during this time are taking care of themselves. And I do this all the time, like just beat myself up so easily, but to not do that, to be easy with ourselves.
We are fragile beings, and a lot of us are, actually going through grief because of the losses that we have had, whether it be work, whether it be not being able to see loved ones or friends. So you're right. I agree with you. We have to wait it out, be safe, and just look out for one another too. So thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure getting to know you more and chatting about all of your amazing work that you're doing. I'm really just fangirling out over here. I'm so impressed.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
It's so nice to meet you.
Once again, thanks so much to Theresa Cutknife for coming on to Punctuate Theatre and Dreamspeakers Virtual Indigenous Artist Hub. These companies would like to thank their funders for making this all possible. And viewers, thanks for joining us. Make sure to check out all of the other artists that we're highlighting in this series. Hope to see you then.